It is PGA Championship week, the second major of the year. It heads to Southern Hills. And, with every golf major here at DK comes major money because we have a Millie Maker contest this week on DK. Check out your screen. $3 million fantasy golf millionaire pays out that top prize of a fat $1 million. And you get a ticket to our fantasy tournament of champions, so another shot at $1 million there. So head to the lobby now, make your lineups. Visit DraftKings.com for more details. It was $25 for an entry. But it is good to have you two here. Geoff, K.H. Lee, you bet him last year. This is when you really burst onto the scene, and we started believing certain things that you were saying at DraftKings. Right. But for some reason, you decided not to bet him yesterday. That was an awesome final round, man. A boatload of dudes, 20 under or better, video game numbers.
It was kind of fun to watch. I mean, obviously it's a completely different setup than what we're going to see this week. Easy course, easy setup, tons of birdies. You got to go low every day. And yeah, shout out to KH Lee. I'm not sure why I didn't give him the complimentary thank you bet this week. He was still 100-1, but great call. And anyone who did, he's a player who can get really hot with his irons. And when his putter shows up, he'll go low. So good for him. I mean, I'm not super interested in his prospects this week or anything like that, but you got to give a shout out. I think the more interesting thing from last week is seeing the guys like Schauffele, Spieth, and how they performed. Yeah. Justin Thomas. A lot of guys that are in the field this week had great finishes last week too. Okay, and Collin, is this the most real quote you have ever heard in your life from K.H. Lee? He says, being sexy means to be a muscular guy. It's my dream, but not quite possible in reality. I want to be muscular, but I enjoy eating so much. For example, I try not to eat dinner if I have a big lunch, but when dinner time comes, I am usually hungry again. I will work out hard, but I will eat hard as well.
Wow, that is a golfer lifestyle right there. I think 20 years ago, you could still dominate the PGA Tour and eat 5,000 calories a day. But these guys are in such good shape now. I don't know, man. Congratulations on the win this week. 26 under, 63 in the last round. That's amazing. But to sustain that at the highest level, that's going to be tough to do. Look at these guys like Brooksy and DJ. They're just chiseled, man.
Yeah.
They're giving golfers like me that have been always thought that we could compete and still be 20 pounds overweight, and we can't do that anymore. That's incredible. Congrats to KH Lee. That was one heck of a performance. I did not see him coming off the board. In fact, especially with a leaderboard that looked like it did. So many guys with local knowledge, so many guys pretty close to home that were on that board too. You had Spieth right there, and for him to get it done on the last day was pretty cool. But again, that's a chip and putt course. I mean, they're playing the 9-hole executive muni. This is nothing like they're going to see 4 hours up the road in Tulsa this week.
Yeah, well, let's see where you guys are going. It's funny, the self-proclaimed sexiest golfer in the world, KH Lee, is only $6,500 this week. But let's start at the top as we price check. Let's help people out as they build their Millie Maker lineups. So $10K or higher here, Ulrich. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys with Scheffler at the top of the list at 11-4.
Yeah, I think that when you're looking at it from a DraftKings perspective, you got to love the consistency that Justin Thomas has been bringing. 10-7, a big discount off of Scotty Scheffler as well. And again, you saw last week, Scheffler obviously has been bagging the wins, but there's really not much between these two, and just in terms of overall performance, what they're doing. And you look at the PGA Championship, what do you need? You absolutely have to be striking the ball well. Even just the last few champions when they've come in, Justin Thomas in 17, Brooks in 18 and 19. What were they doing well coming in? They're hitting their approaches really well. They were just striking the ball well. They're gaining strokes, massive strokes on approach, some of them off the tee. It's what Justin Thomas has been doing for a while now. So I think at 10-7, I look at him as the best value up there. Morikawa definitely could pop up again. I don't really love Rory on these fast, firm courses that much. I think Justin Thomas 10-7 is where you go.
All right, where do you go in this price range, Collin?
I hate that we don't get together and figure these things out in advance, because I got the exact same guy, but it's pretty much the same reasoning. I think Thomas is such value. There is no board that I'm going to leave him off this week. He's second in birdie average on the PGA Tour, and he's first in par 4 birdie or better average. Now that matters here at Southern Hills for a lot of reasons, but here's two. It's a par 70 and there's only 2 par 5s on the course. So he's a guy who can score when they're not taking advantage of these, very eagleable par 5s that you see a lot on the regular PGA Tour. He plays well on tough courses. This is his kind of track. He's won this tournament before. He's in form. Justin Thomas, I think, is the lock guy that you have to go to on the board. Scheffler, you know what? That Masters hangover is real, and to peak your career at the right time to do it, to finally get it done, it's going to be really, really hard to back that up. So of the 5 guys on the board over 10K, I am definitely on Justin Thomas, and I like it a lot.
Have you not learned anything watching Scheffler play the past like 6 tournaments? Like you can't count this dude out. You can't sleep on this dude. He's going to make you look like an idiot.
It would not be the first time, but I just think right now the guy who can really get this thing done is Thomas. He's playing so well.
Fair
and
enough.
He does it. This is his kind of course. This is his kind of track. This is his setup. I think this is his tournament to win.
All right, Ulrich, you mentioned some big names earlier who had played this past weekend. You're keeping an eye on this week, and I see some of them in the 9K range.
Yeah, I mean, the 9K range is pretty juicy this week. You could realistically start a team, and I'm sure a lot of people will, in the 9K range. I mean, Spieth, Schauffele, Cantlay, all played last week. Obviously, Dustin Johnson even, I'm sure will be people talk themselves back into him. I look at this range, though. I mean, I generally am not someone who talks about Jordan Spieth, so I'm going to keep that trend going. Xander Schauffele at 9,300. I think this course, for a couple reasons, is going to set up really well for him. Typically, where he's done his best work, U.S. Open, a little bit tougher scoring, just a consistent top 10 machine at those courses. And now you've got Southern Hills. People are going to look back. Oh, he missed the cut at the Augusta. He missed the cut at TPC Sawgrass. Those are a little bit like just more tricky kind of, tricked out designs. This is Southern Hills playing 7,500 plus as a par 70, going to be firm and fast. I love the way Schauffele ended last week. That's going to give him some confidence. You look at the trends too. What a player's done coming into the PGA Championship. Well, 4 of the last 5 played in the week prior, had high finishes, came in, won the PGA Championship. I think Xander Schauffele is a player who eventually gets it done in majors. We've seen him win big events before. And I think the setup is really going to favor him. So 9,300, that's going to kind of be where I stake my claim here. There's numerous players that you can make a case for. I already mentioned Spieth, but Schauffele is where I'm going to go. I really like this setup for him. I think if he ever gets it done in a major, it's going to be at a setup just like we're going to see at Southern Hills this week.
I mean, damn, he had the best round of the day yesterday. He went 11 under, but Collin, Hideki Matsuyama, 10 under, and he's in this 9K range.
Yes, but you know what, Geoff and I, again, we're talking the same language, and Schauffele was my second pick in that 9K range. So I think we're like right there, and this was close for me. But I am going to go with Spieth, and here's why. He is 11th in scoring average. He won 2 weeks ago. He was 1 shot off the win last week. He can play. He's playing at his best golf. He has rebuilt his swing. He has rebuilt his confidence, married, family life, the whole thing off the course, yada, yada, yada. He knows this course. He's from Texas. It's only 4 hours up the road. He's played it. He knows his way around here. But the biggest thing is that in fantasy, the big numbers don't hurt you. Jordan Spieth gets beat because he puts up 6s and 7s and 8s. And that's how he loses tournaments. But in a fantasy format, that's only going to hurt you for one blip of a hole for another. But he's going to score. He's going to go low. He's going to put more birdies on the board and more eagles on the board, though they're not really as much this week, than most of the players in the field. So I like Spieth just because of the way that fantasy numbers break out. Does he win the tournament? Maybe, maybe not. I like some other guys to win it a little bit more, but I like him to score really well in a DFS format.
Yeah, Geoff, and you actually had a good tweet yesterday. You don't have a lot of them, but Jordan Spieth finishing his finishing spot at events directly prior to those 3 major wins that he has, and he finished second yesterday. So this could be the time where, you know, he just needs this one, right?
He's finished top 3 in the prior start. All his major wins, he's finished 3rd or better. So, second last week. Like I said, I mean, I think Collin and I are kind of in agreement here. Spieth definitely is probably going to be in the mix this week.
All right, let's see if you're in agreement on your golfer in the 8K range that you like. Maybe there's more than one. Geoff?
I'm going to go with Daniel Berger. I just feel like Berger is still just underrated. Again, really looking for guys who can bring it with consistent ball striking. And much like Spieth, like Berger might hurt you on a hole or two where he just takes like a double, but he will get it back for you because that's how good his iron play has been over the last 2 years. He's going to hit a ton of fairways too and stay out of trouble. And if you look at like par 4 scoring and guys who've done really well on tougher par 70s, Daniel Berger is right up there. I mean, he loves himself a par 70 setup. So I like Berger at 8,600. Certainly cases could be made for other guys in this range. Taking a shot with Shane Lowry again, I assume that'll be a popular pick for a lot of people. Even going down, Max Homa coming off a win. But again, Berger at 8.6, I will take that in pretty much every major championship format.
Yeah.
I think that, again, just a little bit of an underrated player. Don't be shocked if he gets in the mix. If that putter starts to heat up early, again, he'll just hit a ton of fairways, and the approach game has been great all year. So 8,600. Give me some Daniel Berger this week.
Yeah, he kind of flew under the radar since his putter went ice cold in the final round of the Honda, and it's kind of surprising. He doesn't have a top 5 finish in 23 career major starts. Collin, who do you like in the 8K range?
So I'm going to split my board this week. I'm going very polar. I'm going very high and very low. So I'm probably not going to have anybody in this 8K range on my board. But if I did, I would go with Lowry. Again, just consistency, can really get some birdies. Great ball striker, one of the best ball strikers on tour. I think he's some value there. But again, the guys in this range, Sam Burns hasn't really done it on a big stage yet. Zalatoris, not really in form, played, didn't miss the cut last week. Tiger's always just a dodge in all of these events. DeChambeau's coming off a wrist. So we don't know. There's just too many question marks here for me. Max Homa, yeah, but he's never really done it on a tough course. He does it on those executive muni courses, like where you can really go low. That's not what Southern Hills is going to be. So I'm out on this level of the board. I'm going to go really high and really low and try and find some value even further down the board.
Okay.
But if I had to, I would take Lowry.
All right, cool. Perfect segue here. And I need you guys quick on these last two, 7K or under there. Go ahead, Collin.
I'm going to go with Sepp Straka. So you want to talk about guys who are consistent on tough courses? Sepp Straka should be called 70 Straka because all he does is shoot 70. He shoots 70 when everybody's going super low, and he shoots 70 when everybody's making 78s. So I'm going Sepp Straka. I think consistency is going to be really good value this week. At $7,200, he's really, really good on tough courses. He just sort of thinks his way around the course better than anybody. I think there's super value there. Keegan Bradley. How are you getting a guy who's playing this well at $7,500 who's won the PGA Championship before? I think there's huge value there. Even though, yes, he completely choked it away and cost me a lot of money 2 weeks ago. Still not over it. I think that he's a guy who is just like sort of put his game in the right place right now, and he can make a lot of birdies well on a tough course. And by the way, y'all, Ricky Fowler went to Oklahoma State. He knows this course cold. Ricky Fowler, $7,000. I know he's not playing great. He made a cut last time. He's doing okay. But this is a guy who can step it up at any time. He knows this track. He can win here. Ricky Fowler at $7,000. I think he's huge value. I would not be stunned to see him get a top 10 this week.
Geoff, quickly, 7K or under?
Sergio Garcia, why not? Grab a major right before he leaves for the other golf tour.
All right, one name here for Slate Approved Pick. Who wins the PGA Championship, Geoff?
Xander Schauffele, sorry. I don't know why.
No, it was like a fancy British accent you put on that
It was.
thing.
It really just came
I
out.
liked it. All right. Seriously, one name. Get it right, Ulrich. Get one job. Collin, who's your guy?
Well, as you can ask Paul, I do know how to pick winners here. I don't know. Can you see my Tampa Bay Lightning
This is already more
ring?
than one name.
Can you
One
see
word.
that in there? I pick winners. I'm going with Justin Thomas. I think he's got it this week. This is his tournament to lose.